And as that report has well put it, it is now at the blame game stage. We have in studio our investigative editor, Dennis Okari, who did this story over months, I believe. Dennis, was this a sequel, first of all, to Red Alert? And where and when did the pursuit start?
Well, it appears so. Immediately I was done with Red Alert. My focus was on other stories until it took off from a story that I was given by a local scientist who told me that what part of the things that they've been working on is the issue of looking at the safety and the quality of the foods that we eat. And what they found out was something very astounding. They found out that there are chemicals that have been added to especially wheat flour in the labs, and they were checking for chemicals, to be precise. And part of this process was to bleach the flour that people consume, because maize naturally takes a week to 2 weeks to change color. And so because of the demand, they have to bleach the maize to make it look more whiter because of the demand. So when I started pursuing that lead, it led me to other leads. And eventually what one scientist told me was, the focus is not even so much about these preservatives or even the chemicals in the wheat flour and the maize flour. It's in aflatoxin. So when I started looking into it, I discovered it is serious than actually most people think.
Yes.
And one of the brands that we investigated and we found with the very high levels of aflatoxin is what I also consume. So I'm also affected as much as I was doing the story.
Yeah, and you actually started in the 1 hour, 24 minutes piece, which I believe still had much more to reveal, and we can pursue that. You started with the story, personal stories of people who've lost their loved ones based on consuming poisonous maize, and of course that had high levels of aflatoxin. And of course right now people are asking, is this, what are we to do? And KEBS just a couple of days ago decided to withdraw or recall some of the brands, 5 brands in fact, of flour. As you see these reactions, and of course it came just before the story aired, but your guess is as good as mine that they knew about it.
Yes.
Do you feel content that your job has been done?
No, I don't. To be quite honest, it took me 4 months working on this story. And to answer your question from where you began, these families that I interviewed several other families, some of which didn't want to appear on camera. And what I was trying to establish was there was a season when the eastern parts of Kenya received food aid from government and other agencies in terms of maize grain. And some of them consumed these grains, some bought them commercially, some used them to plant and to cook. So I was trying to find out what was the entry point of aflatoxin. Is it when they were given these grains as food aid by the government, or did this accumulation of these toxins come when they had planted before they consumed, and the several deaths that were reported in the year 2004 and those many years ago. So the reason why I'm not content is because a lot of people asking me, so what do we eat? It's the same question I'm asking myself when I'm looking at my meal plan. I'm looking, so what do I eat? What do I do away with? It's complicated. But one of the things that I was told by the experts that I interviewed that many people can do, you genuinely can't stop eating ugali entirely. You can't.
It's our staple.
It's our staple. You can't. So what they told me, one of the solutions, is just part of the solution, is to diversify. Now, for many people who live in towns and in the city, they have an advantage because you have rice, you have other foodstuffs. You can have chapati, you can have dengu, you can have all these other foodstuffs. But in the villages where most people are actually greatly affected by the issue of aflatoxin, they don't have those many options. So the first thing to do is diversify, so that you reduce the amount of toxins in the body over a prolonged period of time.
Let me hold you on that point in terms of what people can do and hear what people have to say or think after the story that aired yesterday.